what's going on in the world today ain't exactly clear. All I know is I can't believe anything that you hear. Vigilant Alaskan, bringing you truth in the last frontier. All right, everyone, welcome to the second edition of the weekly news roundup here on Vigilant Alaskan. Theme of this video is going to be so you think you hate the government. And this is a quote that I attribute to myself. I cannot be certain how much you hate the government. The only thing I can be certain of is that it is not enough. And we got a handful of stories that are really going to illustrate that. We're going to start out first with a new documentary coming out from James O'Keefe about the issue at the border and everything that's going on there. So let's go ahead and watch the trailer here. And then he's doing an interview with Alex Jones. I want to just highlight a couple things that he has to say in it. And so here we go. This is coming out October 10th, called Line in the Sand from James O'Keefe. Let's watch the trailer.
We got an unaccompanied minor right here, guys. This is heartbreaking right here.
See the handcuffs? Those criminals are being put with the kids?
Yep.
They're putting the criminals with the kids. Does sacrificing your value system and integrity to feed your family make you a bad person? They're putting blinders on right now to stop us from seeing what's happening. There seemed to be an internal struggle between doing what people perceived as the morally right thing and pursuing their livelihood.
You can't move 500,000 children in 3 years if you're asking a lot of questions.
Maybe it's all just human nature. Maybe the powers that be know that.
That is
Let's go. Stop the car. Stop the car. Where are you going? This is very upsetting.
They're right there. Get down.
They're in the secret facility right now. This is all about money. There's a car right there. They got ladders. Right now.
In front of me are all the migrants. We're headed north.
It's not about people. How much money are you making off of this crisis?
$1 billion.
Every single agent knows deep in his heart what's going on is wrong.
I know you're just trying to do your job.
We're taking children, we're then delivering them to people who they don't even know.
Dude, I don't
Okay,
want to cry.
What's happening inside that facility?
You know what's happening here?
They all protect each other. The NGOs,
They got some spotlight on us.
the federal government. This is dangerous. I don't think we can trust anybody. America, we made it.
I'm the king of the world.
Follow the journey of the immigrants,
I can't do this, guys.
the journey of the children,
Oh, this is big time, dude.
We're in a cartel tunnel now, dog.
and a cartel, and the journey into human nature. Some things can't be read in a book or a newspaper. They must instead be lived. There's nobody here to stop this. There's nobody.
All right, well, so let's look at the documentary there that's coming out soon. And, for those of you that aren't aware, the whole situation at the border, the federal government has essentially ceded control of our southern border to the cartels. And not only has it allowed them to do whatever they need to do as far as bringing people, trafficking people, guns, drugs, whatever across the border, they're facilitating this. As soon as and that means that you and I are paying for it. And I recently wrote about this in an article about the border and all my concerns that come along with something like this. And, the fact that we're paying for this, the largest human trafficking operation in the history of the world, is infuriating, to say the least. And we'll maybe stoke that fury a little bit later when we get into some of the hurricane relief stuff that is going on or lack thereof. But I want to just get into a little bit of this interview with O'Keefe and Alex Jones. Whatever you may think of these two guys, what they're saying, is the information valid? I believe that it is. And so try to put that aside and look at this, again, what really is a humanitarian crisis, and only possible through massive corruption from our government. So let's just get into this, watch a few clips from this interview.
these large questions, which are hard questions to answer, which is where do you draw the line? And people doing all these things, helping facilitate child trafficking, just doing their jobs to collect the paycheck. And I think we're getting a point in society where we have to face the music. Are we a nation of moral cowards? Are we just going to go along to get along, to feed our family? Are we going to step up? And that's what the film is really about. And it contrasts these cowardly people, some of them in the Border Patrol, with some of the heroes that do stand up and do speak the truth. And that's why it's called Line in the Sand, Alex.
Talk about what you experienced out there, because I mean I know you work 7 days a week, you crisscross the world really with all your other investigations going on, and then I've made films that took a long time to make, nothing like this, and it's like you're giving birth to something when it's it's like a child, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm the director of this film. I didn't just delegate that. A lot of people, I actually directed it. I'm the protagonist. I went to the border wall. I interacted with the cartel. In fact, Alex, in one scene in the movie, they're cutting through the iron wall. You see it on your screen right there with a big buzzsaw. The cartel is, and they were threatening me as the Border Patrol just sat there and watched. So there's some really incredible moments. It's almost like an action movie. Most documentaries are very retrospective, or they interview people. This is like you're there. And some of the moments are hard to believe are real. There's another scene in the film where they're stamping fake residencies in New York City. I go undercover as a Ukrainian immigrant. They give you free bracelets, free plane tickets. And what dawned upon me, my takeaway, is that everybody is making so much money off of this crisis. Everybody is getting rich off of this thing. And there was no moral concern with the kids, and none of it. In fact, we snuck into one of these child encampments in Texas, and it's a federal compound. It's very dangerous to do this. We did it anyway. And the guard was like, yeah, it pays really well. And then another bus company guy said, yeah, we need these people to keep coming so we can keep feeding our family. And I was kind of surprised by that. I can't believe how many people are on the take. Now, in Mexico, if you hold the cartel accountable, they'll kill you. And in America, if you hold these people accountable, they'll kill your reputation. So again, it goes back to this biblical question, which is a hard question to answer, but where do you draw that line? When are we going to stand up and say enough is enough? Let's stand lockstep. This is not right. That's
So just a couple things there. When he says free money, it's not free money. It's our money. So they are stealing our money to give to people to facilitate this human trafficking operation that they are working with the cartels on behalf of. To we'll get into their motives here in just a second. Watch this last clip.
Muck, I'm glad you mentioned Muckraker. Anthony Rubin was one of the inspirations for me to do the train ride. He had done it before. Now, Anthony, before I even made this film, was kidnapped by the cartel. Talk about, I don't know whether this guy is brave or insane or both, but he went out there, he was kidnapped, they destroyed his cameras, and then I said, let's go do this together. So Anthony Muckraker and I rode the train in Irapuato, Mexico. Up there, we were detained by the Mexican Army and National Guard, and we had a hidden camera in my watch, and I took the SD chips out of the cameras to protect the footage. This is, Alex, I actually did this on the freight train. So in the film, you can see the beast train, it's called La Bestia, where all the Venezuelans jump on the train. It's dangerous to climb aboard a moving freight train. You've got women with babies strapped to their kids. There's Anthony right there, very brave guy. I would not have done this, but not for him. And then we were detained and filmed that entire detention where they were talking about their relationship with the United States government. Now, people need to understand that the United States government is funding all of this. Health and Human Services is $1 trillion agency. They're providing funding to these NGOs. I did not know this, Alex, but the churches are involved in this. I got tax returns for Catholic charities, and it was surprising to see the Department of Homeland Security giving money to the church to help facilitate all this trafficking. So I think we know about this. So people say, well, why would you make a film? We all know the border's broken. I think part of what I do and part of what I would call cinema verite, which is the art of capturing things in reality, it's true reality film. Sometimes you need to see the world through that lens, through that aperture.
Yeah, James is not wrong there. I will put a little feather in my cap, not to, brag or anything, but a little self-promotion. If James were watching or reading Vigilant Alaskan, he would have been aware of this because I talked about this in something I wrote about the border, where the Biden administration, the State Department, DHS, and the Catholic churches are working together to aid the cartels in a human trafficking operation. It sounds ridiculous, but it sadly it's true. And again, if you want to go ahead and check out the Substack, I believe the piece is called "Questions I Have About the Southern Border" or something to that effect. And so yeah, and another theme today is going to be this apparent some it's always people within the government who are giving orders to stand down or not do your job, as it were. And we talk about again, these border patrol agents basically being told that they can't do their job. And you wonder, oh, why don't I hear about this? Well, I mean, here you can go watch another O'Keefe undercover where he's got an MSNBC producer admitting that they are doing all they can to help the Harris campaign, that they are basically their mouthpiece. So if you're one of these left-leaning individuals who watches, gets your news from there, you should understand that it's not news. They are working hand in glove with the government, being told what to say. So now let's go into this hurricane relief. Wait, hold on. We've got a couple other things here about the border, because you're getting a lot of border patrol agents coming through. And so, again, let's talk about motives. Here you have the percent increase in the last 2 years of unauthorized migrants in these swing states in the country, as low as 241, as high as 775% increase. Now, what the Biden and Harris, I mean, again, these people are not in charge of anything and are no masterminds to anything, but what they want to do is, if that border bill would have been pushed through, that they gave President Trump a lot of grief for canceling, but it's because it was to fund war, basically. I think that's what our government has money for: war, not you or me or any of the people suffering down there from the hurricane, but war and illegal immigrants, so that they can get these numbers here as legitimate voters, because it would have been an amnesty bill that granted all these illegal migrants citizenship, and they assume that they would be voting Democrat. And even if they don't vote, that's not the point. The real thing here is that those numbers go towards seats in the House. So I think California has gotten 5 extra seats since they really opened up their borders. And here's just another example of what DHS has money for. So it says
¿Y por cuánto tiempo han estado quedándose aquí en el Rojo Hotel? ¿Se sintieron apoyados gracias a nuestro presidente Joe Biden? ¿Y por cuánto tiempo han estado quedándose aquí en el Rojo Hotel?
Yo llegué en julio.
¿Cuántos meses es eso?
Como 7 meses.
¿Y han tenido que pagar alojamiento?
No, nada, no he pagado nada.
¿Es 100% gratis?
Sí.
¿Y le dan almuerzo,
desayuno? Sí, le dan niños, personales, nos dan pañales, lo que necesiten.
¿Y ahí en el hotel hacen limpieza de las puertas?
Sí, hacen. Sí, todos los días hacen limpieza, cambian las sábanas, hacen aseo.
¿Todos los días hacen eso?
Sí, todos los días.
¿Han podido conseguir trabajo ustedes?
No.
Yo no. Si ustedes tuvieran un problema de medicina, ¿cómo podrían recibir ayuda con eso?
Bueno, una tarjeta, la del seguro de Medicare.
So they're on
Y la
Medicare.
Metro Plus. Nosotros tenemos la
Even
Metro
though
Plus y
there's
eso
no
nos
job.
abarca el seguro que nosotros necesitamos para los niños y también nosotros
One of the
los
more
beneficiamos.
shocking things, too, has been that we are facilitating sex change operations if these migrants so happen to want them. And it's really shocking to me, anyway. And so, as the DHS and FEMA are spending money on all these illegal immigrants, we have got whistleblowers coming forward talking about their response to the hurricanes down in the southern United States there, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee are the real hard hit places from by the hurricane. And Rep. Matt Gates has a number of whistleblowers coming to him talking that, these people have been sent down there and basically put on standby. They've been sitting in hotel rooms waiting for orders, and you can just see some of the destruction. The images coming out here are just unbelievable. And you have the federal government, if we were to have them exist for anything, it would be to assist in situations like this. We have, I mean, whole towns. We're going to get to a video here in a minute about that kind of really detail all this stuff. So let's actually go to that now. This, I've got some timestamps here that we'll go ahead and start watching.
The pouring down rain. It rained Wednesday, Thursday, and she came Friday. I mean, everything she could move, she moved.
House, whole house. Man, oh
my car's gone.
I'm okay. It's okay.
Everything's gone.
It isn't just bridges that are washed out or roads that are washed away. Whole towns are gone. We've got upwards of almost 1 million people still without power as of today, just in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia alone. And the stories that are coming out of people being trapped in areas where there's no running water, they can't obviously flush toilets, you have elderly and disabled people who can't get around very easily. There are stories of children being found just abandoned in the woods, not abandoned, but their parents are nowhere to be found. Something must have happened to their parents because there's just children just in the woods. And that's before you get into the much darker stuff that the media isn't talking about.
How they're saying just a couple hundred people on the news and social media. He looked at me and just his face head kind of drooped, and he started choking up. I put my hand on his back and said, buddy, we're doing all we can do. He said, I've talked to people and they're pulling people out of houses about an hour. Just that they couldn't get out. The water took them in, trapped them in, then the silt filled in. They're there. You go down through there and there's just houses with big X's on them or check marks on them. I don't know what the X's mean. I don't want to know what the X's mean, but I'm hoping the check mark means that they're good, that there's nobody in there. That, I mean, it's horrible.
And so now we're going to get to a part of the video that is probably going to piss a lot of you off. It really pisses me off. I find what I'm about to say to you very unreal because it, in the first sense anyway, what I'm about to tell you doesn't make any sense.
These people doing these rescue missions and saying, you know, don't fly drones around the area, don't bring in donations that aren't approved. A lot of people are getting turned away for their donations. And something is afoot here.
But this is the kind of stuff that's going on. I'm seeing it all over the place.
A formal press conference or something from either President Biden or Kamala Harris. I mean, how do you not say anything for 4 days? They've been stranded for 4 days, and this is the first we've heard from them at all. FEMA is not on the ground there.
Do you have any faith in the federal response here?
No.
So first of all, you had a woman talking about how TEMA, the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, was telling people not to send donations, not to volunteer to come in to help people.
Notification from TEMA. I'm guessing that's FEMA for Tennessee. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's supposed to be the disaster relief people, but they were like, do not donate your time. We don't want you to donate time unless we ask for you. And we don't want you to donate stuff to other people. You need to just donate money and stuff to us and get your instructions from us and listen to us. What?
And was telling people to just give cash donations, which a lot of people are saying, if you know what that's about, they put it into a fund. It doesn't necessarily go where you think it's supposed to.
So donate to our local churches because they will make sure that the people that are need it will get it.
This is a lesson that everyone should learn to really be careful of who the charities you donate to. Americans give more money to charity exponentially than any country in the world, and we should. We're one of the richest. So, but a lot of these charities they're scams. There's no other way to put it. So if you donate to a charity, just make sure you know where the money's going. Local charities are the best ones because, again, the money's not going anywhere. If you have to send it off to some, third-party NGO or whatever, again, we see what these NGOs do. They are a huge part of this whole, they're called non-governmental organizations, but they're very much government organizations. They work hand in glove with them, and a lot of the times that money is just going to pay CEO salaries and things like that instead of solving these problems with famously the homeless situation in California. There's some group put together to address that, and if they actually fixed the homeless crisis, then there would be no reason for them to exist. So they're not real concerned about fixing it and giving up their 6-figure salary. So the government response here has been horrendous. There's a lot of reports we're going to go to next. This guy saying that the government is, again, FEMA is there. They are not helping anyone. They are, in fact, preventing local citizens from helping because in this time of crisis, those are the people that are going to help you, your neighbors. And you notice one thing that never comes up is, was that person a Biden voter or a Trump voter? This stuff is so trivial when you get down to it, especially at moments like these. And whoever's sitting in that seat of the government is not one of them is going to care for you more than the other. I hate to break it to you. So let's watch this helicopter pilot's testimony.
There's none. What is going on?
The only thing I need from this video is helicopters. If I have helicopters, I can save lives. Yesterday, when I was at the Asheville airport refueling, which, by the way, the civilian is paying all this out of his own pocket. He's not even looking for a reimbursement. I think we did 4 refuelings yesterday. And that was just in half a day's work. We're in Asheville, and I saw 2 Air Force Helicopter 60s. And I knew they were PJs, just looking at them. And I went up to them, I'm like, hey guys, what are y'all doing? And this is what you need to be doing. This is how I'm finding people. And they're like, we can't go. We're waiting on Title 10 orders. And I'm like, what? They can't get any authority. There's military helicopters all over here sitting on the ground and they can't do nothing. Even my JSOC boys in Fayetteville, they can't get orders to come out here. It is just the most disgusting thing, and they're killing these people. And I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know what kind of conspiracy. I've heard so many things, whatever you want to come up with, but they are literally allowing these people to die in the mountains right now because we can't get helicopters.
And it wasn't until October 2nd, that Biden finally approved 1,000 soldiers, I think. I mean, keep in mind, this area that's affected is the size of Massachusetts, and he just now, days after the fact, just now approved.
And she goes on to talk about the number of troops that were deployed for Hurricane Katrina and how much greater that response was than this. And this is a much bigger area and a much more severe storm. And just, again, begs the question. And actually, the Tennessee National Guard was deployed to the Middle East recently. So again, our government's priorities are bombing people in the third world and not caring the least bit about what is going on between me and you, other than how much of our money they can steal in order to fund their, murder and line the pockets of their donors. And so we're gonna go back to this helicopter pilot, talk about his rescue thing. And these are all private civilians that are doing this, and not the government.
What got me fired up about this was yesterday, me and my team did the rescue of that 11-day-old baby. All these government officials and social media, they're showing that video, that pictures and video of that rescue, and claiming that they have some government helped with that. Even USA, I think it was USA Today, wrote an article about it saying it was a Florida National Guard that went and got it, with a helicopter. No, it was me, my buddy Charlie, and a civilian named Zeb with his own personal helicopter out of Wilmington, North Carolina.
Absolutely.
Without that civilian, that baby would be dead. And the old lady we went and rescued after that, she'd be dead too because she had 1 day left of oxygen.
Let's recap. Not to read between this lady's lines or anything, but it's not like she's veiling what she's saying all that hard. She's straight saying they can't go in because they haven't been given the clearance to do so, and everything in the military requires that's going on.
Check this out.
I did post this, and I asked people,
good places to donate.
If you've got a source that's actually a good source that's helping people right now, where the donation will make a difference, please post that, basically, because I want to give people, good, legitimate sources where if they give them the money, it's not the people and think people over everyone that was mentioned by multiple people, and they've disastered you. And was mentioned consistently is the United Cajun lying at the hospital set up here where you can donate. There's a page set up for them to donate.
Here, operations director.
The Y'all Squad mentioned multiple times.
In Central Western North is really.
They've got people on the ground. They're in multiple states. They're doing stuff. They have a Give, Send, Go that they've set up. Operation Airdrop, which is volunteer. Finally, Mountain Mule Packer Ranch was also mentioned. They've got mules and they're loading equipment onto mules and walking it in that way because, again, like I said, you can't get in there with the roads the way they are. I mean, there's in some areas there's only one road and it's iffy, and
one of the things too. So thing I forgot to mention was when it came to the people that are coming in over the border, President Trump famously, said, "Oh, they're not giving us their best. They're rapists and murderers and blah, blah, blah." And everyone gave him hell for it, thinking he was talking about all people from South America. Well, a report came out that said that they have, that we know of, released 435,000 criminals, and then there's another 200,000 with pending charges. So 600,000, and these are 13,000 convicted homicide murderers, 62,000 assault, 15,000 sexual assault, so a couple thousand kidnappers. And then you have, these Venezuelan gangs that are taking over apartment buildings in places around the country. And so again, all being facilitated by the government. Then we have all the wars, the billions to Ukraine and Israel. But then we have our own people here in uh, South Carolina, North Carolina, that need help and are being just basically forgotten. Our Mayorkas, the DHS head, has come out and says that FEMA doesn't have the money. And so they say, oh, well, the people can go ahead and apply for their disaster relief. Well, they're doing that, and coming when they do that, they're finding that they're being denied because FEMA doesn't have the money because FEMA and DHS have been the ones facilitating the border operation. And how does FEMA respond? They lock down their Twitter account. It's a shame we can't see what people have to say to them about this whole disaster. So, again, one more story too. Another one that if you would be following the Health Yourself blog, and I think I did mention it in some one of my articles on Vigilant Alaskan, but the EPA has had to come out and admit that fluoridated water does lower children's IQ. Score another win for the conspiracy theorists. There's been a study that was part of a lawsuit that the Fluoride Action Network had basically the EPA and I think that group had commissioned this study. And once the results were found that yes, it is a neurotoxin detrimental to IQ, especially children. And how did the EPA and the federal government respond? Well, they tried to block the report from coming out. And after a few years of litigation, the Fluoride Action Network managed to force it to be released. And the exact findings, I think it was, here we go, 7.7 milligrams per liter of water is can attribute to 2 points of loss in IQ. And, here's again your federal government, because they love you so much, fluoridating all the water for us to drink. But at least our teeth are sparkling, allegedly. Again, this is just, you think you hate the federal government enough. I can assure you, you don't. So that's the end of this video. All right, everyone. Just a few things I forgot to mention in the video. But like I said, the theme of the video is really the Biden-Harris or Harris-Biden administration and their failure to respond to certain crises. There's been a number of these. First ones that come to mind, the East Palestine train derailment a few years ago, where this train of one of the most toxic chemicals known to man spills, and for some reason they felt the need to ignite the thing and blow it up, sending a plume smoke, this toxic smoke, and scattering the stuff all over the eastern seaboard. And so the EPA has told people that the water is safe to drink there, and we have a whistleblower here who is saying that it is not the case. So just another example of the government lying to you and harming its citizens. The other one was the Maui fires. This was again just something that was just completely bungled and mismanaged by the federal government, and again their involvement not only did not save lives, it certainly cost them. In the media, who should be the only people whose whose your ire is directed to more than the government would be the media, who covers this stuff up. And so people like me have to, start these little independent efforts and tell people what's going on. There was a number of things not reported. I covered both of these on a separate Substack that I will link to this and all the videos that I showed, as well as the interview with the whistleblower there. Shout out to TruthStream Media for doing the one on the hurricane efforts there. And like I said, we'll link all those in the descriptions. If you want to support me, you can go to the Vigilant Alaskan Substack and donate there, or go to Health Yourself. That's my health coaching business. We have health coaching programs for you to take control of your health and become your own doctor. And have a number of awesome products, supplements, things like that. And we'll leave you with a short advertisement for that. So that's our one and only sponsor. Thanks for everyone for watching, and we will see you next time. Are you experiencing low energy afternoons, poor digestion, heartburn, brain fog, difficulty losing weight? Are common colds becoming just a little too common? If this sounds familiar, then Health Yourself may be right for you. But what is Health Yourself? Health Yourself is not a medical approach. We don't treat or diagnose any condition specifically. We use a whole body, holistic model of self care that uses natural protocols that focus on diet, rest, exercise, supplementation, and stress reduction, restore balance in the body, and promote healing. We test, not guess, using lab results to customize protocols to fit each client based on their bio-individuality, because we're all different. So if you're ready to break your dependence on hospitals, doctors, and expensive medications, start using natural protocols and lab results to help your body heal, go to the website, sign up for one of the coaching programs so you can start to health yourself today, because nobody's going to do it for you.
Health Yourself clients may experience better mood, energy, sleep, clearer skin, healthy bowel movement, overall happiness, love of life, less anxiety, depression, thoughts of elation, knowing the leakage, better immune function, positive attitude, and overwhelming sense of optimism.